Welcome back to HQ Spotlight. You know what time it is in the NFL. It is win or go home. That is right. The playoffs are coming up this weekend. And here on CBS, we are so excited to be bringing you action between the Chargers and the Texans. It's coming your way Saturday at 4:30 Eastern. We know that this is an exciting matchup, but we're even more excited about the guys on the call. Ian Eagle, Charles Davis, and Evan Washburn will be bringing this one to us live on CBS. And we are so fortunate to have Charles Davis join us here on HQ Spotlight. Charles, thanks so much for the time. We got to start with that QB spot out in LA, Justin Herbert. We've talked about him a lot, right, throughout his career as a guy who can really be that guy. But it feels like as of late, he has really found his form in this Chargers offense. What do you like about what Justin Herbert is doing going into the postseason?
Can I say everything? Is that okay?
Can. Yes, please.
Because I like everything about what he's doing, like everything about the makeup of who he is and his game. This young man, toughness, if anyone ever questions his toughness, then they haven't been watching and they don't understand how it works. He has played through so many things in his career and answers the bell almost each and every time. I know he had a broken finger, missed games down the stretch last year. Hard to throw a football with a broken finger at the quarterback position, can't really do it. But the rest of it, ribs, check, ankle, check, big hits, he bounces up. Still runs the football when you think he can't, and of course delivers it with that big right arm. And here's the best part. The numbers aren't going to be what he had in his first 4 years when they were throwing it around like crazy, because this team actually does run the football. But when it's on the line and it's time, and right now, he is just elevating his game down the stretch. Last 3 games, his numbers are off the charts. His team is averaging 34 points a game in the last 3 games. He threw for 346 against the Raiders, broke off a 41-yard run, and to a person in that locker room, they all point to him and say he is their guy. Derwin James told him that I think in New England, said, I don't want to play with any other quarterback but you. I think that speaks volumes about Justin Herbert, not just his play, but who he is as a person as well.
Yeah, he's still looking for that first career playoff win, but it just feels like the cards right now are in his favor. And to your point, he has done a tremendous job handling the ball, 23 touchdowns, just 3 interceptions this season. It's very impressive. But Charles, we know the defense wins championships, right? That's the old phrase that we're so used to saying. And you wouldn't think we'd be talking about the defense when it comes to the Chargers if you look at last season. But man, oh man, have they just revamped that side of the ball. Where, why, how have they been able to have such an incredible turnaround on defense this year?
Well, we have to start with Jesse Minter, their defensive coordinator. And Haley, I'm of an age that I know Jesse's father, Rick, when he was a head coach in college football, and was a big deal, right? We knew him, always been a big defensive guy, the whole deal. It is passed down in the genes to his son, who helped Michigan win a national championship last year with a suffocating defense. And not many guys you would call stars. Guys have gone into the NFL, but you weren't looking at Michigan defense and saying first rounder. No, not at all. Now you come to the Chargers, who had talent on defense, but I felt like they were overthinking everything all the time. Things were just a little bit too complicated. He has simplified it to the point of letting players be able to play fast, play to their talents, and I think there's no better example than Derwin James. Because Derwin James is a flat-out wrecking crew when he's on the field. He's a Pro Bowler for a reason. Really struggled during the Brandon Staley days. They couldn't quite figure it out. Not anymore. It is figured out. He puts people in the right spots. He listens to input from the players. He also knows what he's doing in a big way. Jesse Minter, a name you better keep remembering, and these guys played big for him. The #1 scoring defense in the NFL this year at 17.7 points per game. Last year, they were 24th in the league in scoring. Pretty nice jump, pretty much the same people.
Yeah, we showed that full screen graphic. We haven't seen a turnaround like that since the 92-93 Giants, so obviously a big point of emphasis there. And then if you factor in Dicker the kicker, you got all 3. Offense, defense, and special teams there. If you're Houston, Charles, coming into this matchup, you know you have to contend with Justin Herbert. You've heard what you just said about the defense, but we haven't really talked about the Chargers' run game that has just really come to life as well, too. What is the task for the Houston defense in containing the ground game that LA presents in this matchup?
Yeah, Foley Fatukasi and Danico Autry and all the guys who are playing inside, and of course, Anderson and Danielle Hunter on the edges. they have got to slow down the running game, because that's what Los Angeles is going to come at you with. That's who they are. That's their identity. That's what they want to play off of. And if they run it effectively and efficiently, then you're getting into play action. And Justin Herbert has been really effective throwing the football off of play action. So J.K. Dobbins, if he's healthy, if Gus Edwards is healthy, here they come. Oh, didn't they just sign Ezekiel Elliott? Can he turn back the clock if in fact he plays on Saturday? But remember, they've got Kamani Vidal, a rookie out of Troy who's played fairly well for him, Hassan Haskins, and Justin Herbert will run the football as well. So they are going to come at you in a hard run game. That the interior of the defense for the Texans has got to be ready to go, and that's first level. And of course, the second level, Azeez Al-Shaair will anchor that in the middle.
It's so fun that we're talking about the Chargers in this capacity, just the turnaround under Jim Harbaugh and what he's been able to do. And we'll get to that in a minute. But it's not been as fun if you're the Texans, Charles. And I kind of remember this last year, right, when there was so much euphoria surrounding this team and their new head coach and their shiny new quarterback. And all of a sudden this year, they've hit some adversity. So going into the postseason, when you know you have to win to keep your season alive, how do the Texans sort of find that magic again and get back to being that team that we had so much fun watching last season?
I think deep cleansing breath. It's a brand new season. It's all, hey, listen, they had to battle to get to where they are. But here's the thing, Haley. Think about the number of teams that did what the Texans did last year, had high hopes for the next year, and fell off the map. The Texans battled their way back and won another division title and are a 4 seed and hosting a playoff game again. So whatever gloom and doom people want to ascribe to this team, just remember, they are the AFC South division champs for the second year in a row. They won 10 games for the second year in a row. They get to host a home playoff game in the wild card round for the second year in a row. Oh, I got to give them more credit. People want to come at them and have their knives for them. Give them credit for being in this spot. And I like what they did on the offensive line with the changes they've made. Titus Howard going the guard, and whether it's Shaq Mason or Juice Scruggs at the other guard, and Jarrett Patterson at center. I like what they've done there. Joe Mixon will be healthy going into the playoffs to run the football. And Nico Collins is back healthy again so they can throw it out on the perimeter. Let's see how they go and play now. They can take a few hits off of C.J. Stroud, and you kind of start over again in the playoffs. We could see more of that Texans team we saw in 2023 as we get into playoffs in 2024.
Yeah, we just got to see just a little bit of that C.J. Stroud magic. We know what they're capable of down there in Houston. As we wrap up our conversation, Charles, I think the message when it was coming out of L.A. was, oh, it'll be next year when Harbaugh takes this team to the playoffs, when he can get his system together. We should have known better than to doubt Jim Harbaugh based on his track record here. But just talk to us about what he's been able to accomplish, what this Chargers team has been able to accomplish this year, especially when you factor in the GM, Joe Horitz, and just building this team, getting them ready for the 2024 playoffs.
I think that the combination of coach GM is so valuable in this league when you can be attached at the hip with each other in lockstep. Yes, you can disagree, but eventually a decision is made and you go together on that decision, hand in hand on it. Joe Ortiz coming from Baltimore. Jim Harbaugh being Jim Harbaugh, but understands the Baltimore way works really well, and he probably has his way that has a lot of Baltimore roots, and it works really well for them. Joe Ortiz hit big in the draft, did a nice job in free agency, all this under salary cap restraints. I mean, a bunch of them, okay? So we thought they'd have to clear through that. And then Jim Harbaugh, whatever it is he does, I think you and I would love to be embedded with them for about a year to find out what it is about Jim Harbaugh that gets these guys playing so well so quickly and they buy into him so fast. Now, Jim's not going to let us in because, you know, we're outsiders. No, you don't count. But he does it really well. How about this, Haley? This is his 5th year as an NFL head coach. In 4 of the seasons, he's won 11 or more games. 3 of those seasons, he's gone to an NFC championship game. 1 of those seasons, he went to a Super Bowl. His worst season, he was 8-8. Okay, so something he's doing there, everything he's doing there works really well, and these players really grasp onto him. In the preparation, I'll finish with this. You can't find every third article is about what Jim Harbaugh has brought to that culture, what Joe Ortiz has brought to that culture. That's what it's about, and they have all bought in, and they're playing at their best level right now. They are peaking for the playoffs.
I mean, Charles, who's got it better than Jim Harbaugh? Nobody right now at this point.
Nobody.
All right, Charles Davis, always so gracious of you joining us here on HQ Spotlight. We look forward to hearing you on the call on Saturday. It is all coming to a head this weekend. It is win or go home in the NFL, and it all gets started with that game at 4:30 on CBS. And then make sure you join us Sunday as well, where the Bills and the Broncos go head-to-head. That one also at CBS at 1 o'clock Eastern. The playoffs are officially here.